For this tutorial you will need your selected yarn. I'm using Paintbox Simply DK in the colour peach, orange, daffodil, yellow, wash teal, pale lilac and champagne white. I'll leave all the links in the description box below for you. You can obviously use whichever colours you want, but you want to label them A, B, C, D and E. I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook, but you can check your yarn band to see what it recommends. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle for sewing in your ends. Don't forget there's going to be the free written pattern on my blog, which again I'll leave in the description box below with everything that you'll need for this project, including the pinnable image where you can save this project to your Pinterest board for a later date if you wish. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all of my latest videos. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start with colour A, and we're going to start with a magic ring or magic circle. I will leave a link in the description box below for a slowed down version of this, but you're going to wrap around your finger, make a cross, and then you'll have 2 strands on the back. Go under and pull that yarn through, twist your hook, grab the yarn and then pull it through. So we're going to start with round 1, and for round 1 we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. So this classes as the first stitch, so it classes as a treble crochet. Remember, I'm working in UK terms. In the US that is known as a double crochet. And then we're going to do 11 trebles into this magic circle. So for a treble crochet you're going to yarn over the hook, insert into the center circle, yarn over, pull through. You will have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through those first 2 loops. You will have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through those next 2 loops. Again, if you need a bit of a refresher on that one, I have a dedicated video just for the UK treble, US double. So that is our first treble crochet. We'll go ahead and do 2 and 3. Pause the video until you have done 11 treble crochets. Remember that the first one is classing as a stitch. We'll have 12 treble crochets in total. So pause the video, work those stitches and meet me back in just a moment. Okay, so I've finished round 1, and as I say, you'll have 12 stitches in total, including that chain 3. What we're going to do now is move on to round 2, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. But at this point we're also going to change to colour B. So what we want to do is find this chain 3 and then insert our stitch into the top of the chain 3. I'm going to drop colour A, pick up colour B with a loop, and then draw colour B through instead of drawing colour A, and that is our colour change. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to snip off colour A, and we are done with that colour, and then pick up colour B and lay the tail ends of A and B along your work so that you can start to crochet them in a little bit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. This classes as a stitch. We're going to increase the amount of stitches in this round. So we're going to actually do 2 treble crochets into each stitch. So first of all, we're going to do 1 treble into the same stitch as the chain 3. What I'm going to do here is make sure that these tail ends are actually over the hook, and then complete my treble crochet. We're then going to do 2 treble crochets into every stitch all the way around. So yarn over into the next stitch, make sure those tail ends are over, and then do treble crochet and then treble crochet into that same stitch, and simply do that all the way around until we have 24 stitches in total. So I'm going to continue working around in that way. What I'm going to do is, after I've done maybe another 2 sets of stitches, I will then drop these tail ends so that I can weave them back in the opposite way once I've finished the square. So go ahead, pause the video, work those 24 stitches, and then meet me back and I'll show you how to move on to round 3. So once you've finished round 2, we're then going to move on to round 3 and we're going to change to colour C. So we're going to insert our hook into the top of the chain 3 of the beginning of the round, and then we're going to take colour C and do exactly the same as what we did before. So you're going to take a loop and pull it through and through. You might want to tighten up on that colour B and chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. I'm just going to snip off my colour B now and we can continue with colour C. So I'm going to lay those tail ends down just as I did before. So for round 3 we're going to do a treble crochet into the same stitch as that chain 3, just as we did before, and we're actually going to increase from 24 stitches to 36 stitches in this round. So what we want to do here is do a pattern repeat. So we have 2 trebles in the same stitch, and then we're just going to do 1 treble into the next stitch. And that's the pattern repeat we're going to do all the way around. So 2 trebles into the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 treble into the next. Again, I'm doing the same things with the tail ends, carrying them over. So 2 trebles, 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and 1 treble into the next stitch. So go ahead, pause the video, work your way all the way round. You'll have 36 stitches in total, and I'll meet you back and show you how to move on to round 4. Okay, so we've now finished round 3. We're now ready to move on to round 4. So we're going to insert our hook into the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round. Take our colour D and pull that through. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and I'm just going to snip off colour C and put that to one side. So we're going to do another pattern repeat. We're going to start off by doing a treble crochet into the base of that chain 3. So that is classing as 2 stitches in the same stitch, and then this time we're going to increase from 36 stitches to 48. So we're going to do 1 treble crochet into the next stitch and then 1 treble crochet into the next stitch. So the pattern repeat is 2 trebles into the next stitch, 1 and 2, followed by 1 treble into the next 2 stitches, treble and treble. So go ahead, pause the video, work that repeat all the way round, and I'll meet you back for round 5. So now we've come to the end of our round 4, we're going to insert our hook into that very first stitch and then take colour E and pull that through. This is the border colour now. So we're going to start off by chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then snipping off the last colour. I'm just going to pop that out of the way. Okay, so for round 5 we're going to treble crochet into the very same stitch. Now it's at this point that we are going to start to use a few different stitches in order to create a square. So we're taking it from being round to being square. I'm just going to pull on those tail ends just to secure that into place. So here what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and that chain 1 is going to be our corner, and then we're going to do 2 treble crochets into the very next stitch, 1 and 2. We're then going to do a half treble crochet, which is half double in the US. That's yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on that hook. We're then going to do 8 double crochets. So in the US that's a single crochet. So straight into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. We're then going to do that little pattern repeat again. So we're going to half treble into the next stitch, and then we're going to do 2 trebles into the next stitch, 1 and 2, chain 1 for the corner, and then 2 trebles into the next stitch, 1 and 2, half treble into the next stitch, followed by 8 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then you're going to do that pattern repeat twice more. So go ahead, pause the video, and then meet me back in just a moment. Okay, so once you've finished that twice and finished off with your 8 double crochets, you'll then have 1 stitch remaining which you're going to do your half treble into. So go ahead, do your half treble crochet, and then you're going to insert your hook into the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round and slip stitch. We're then moving on to round 6, so chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to do 1 treble into the next stitch. Then going to work the corner, and we're going to do 2 treble crochets into that chain 1 space, 1 and 2, followed by chain 2 and then 2 trebles into that next stitch, 1 and 2. You're then going to do 1 treble into the next 14 stitches, so that will take us all the way over to the next chain 1 space to work the corner. You want to pull these stitches over so that you're not missing that very first stitch just here. So there's your first treble, you're going to work all the way along. So go ahead, pause the video, work those 14 stitches right the way to the opposite corner, and then meet me back in just a moment. So once you've worked your way across, you'll find yourself at this chain 1 space again, and you're simply going to repeat that pattern repeat. 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles into the corner space, 1 treble into those 14 trebles across the sides. So you're going to repeat it once, twice, and then on the 3rd time we won't quite have as many trebles. So I'm just going to work my way to this corner, as should you, and I'll meet you back in just a moment. Okay, so once you've worked that last corner, you then have 12 stitches remaining to do on this side, because we already did 2 of the stitches right at the very beginning. So go ahead, do 1 treble into each of those 12 trebles, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so now all you have left to do is slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, chain 1, and snip off your yarn. And then all that would be left to do is to weave in your ends. I would suggest the rule of 3. So we've already gone once. You would go back the opposite way and then sewing back the opposite way. I'll leave a link in the description box below of my video for the rule of 3. So there we have the Circle of Hope granny square. I think you can agree it's absolutely gorgeous. Don't forget, I'll leave a link in the description box below to the blog post for these with the free written pattern and all of the details. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends if you think they'll like it too, and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Bye!